What's going on, guys? It's Dog here, and today we're going to be taking a look at some smart home equipment items. So I have these three switches, and I also have these two different plugs. Now, of course, none of them are installed, though I have been using the Wi-Fi smart plug from TPLink for a little while now. We're gonna go through an unboxing and just sort of a build overview to see how all of these different manufacturers compare. I will be doing a video later on down the road of exactly how to use these guys. My house is wired with aluminum wiring, and unfortunately all of these require the ends of the cable to terminate in copper. So I've been slowly building up a catalog of these accessories so I can have somebody come in and simply install them all at once. So I want to take a quick look first at the Wemo dimmer switch. Now, this is actually the only switch out of the three that I have here that is dimmable. So if that's something that you guys are in the market for and you guys need, then definitely take a look at this guy. So packaging wise, very nice. We're gonna open this up. Presentation, this guy definitely has it nailed. You have your instructional guide right here as far as how to use the application and everything like that. And if I push this back in, there we go. We can take out the switch itself. It's certainly in there. There we go. And the rest is just packaged. So actually some grommets down there if you guys can see in the bottom of the box. So looking at the switch, it's probably the most attractive out of the three for sure. You have the option, of course, to use your dimmer here, and this gives you a nice tactile click for a simple on-off at the bottom. Now, this guy is compatible with Nest, as well as Google Assistant and Amazon Alexa. Looking at the back itself as well, you do have all of your wires here. Now, I'm not gonna bother taking off this tape, but you can see you have your positive, negative, constant, and your ground coming out of the bottom here, and then they simply just terminate with some loose tips that you simply, of course, grommet onto your existing wiring, push this back into the wall, and you're all set to go. The actual transformer on the back of this looks to be regular size, so shouldn't have any difficulties installing it with pre-existing electrical boxes. And the faceplate itself, I'm not actually sure if it comes off. It looks like it may, but I really don't want to pry it. Of course, you could just put the grommets in, push it into the wall, and that is that. So really nice from Wemo Technologies. And we'll move that aside. We're gonna compare that now with the other name brand one here. This is a TP-Link light switch. So if I can figure out how to open this box, we're gonna pull it right from the bottom, slide this guy out. And now I have done a visual inspection of all of these so far. And this one as well is very nice. This is just some packing foam. And then here we have the switch itself. Now with this guy, I have had this off before, so I do know that the faceplate comes off. The faceplate on this one, I find it to be kind of big. I have in my bedroom a thermostat just over top of the actual pre-existing electrical box for the light switch I have now, and I may actually have to Dremel a piece off of this to use it. This is non-dimmable, so this is simply just an on-off switch. Also, of course, compatible with all of the smart home tech that you would expect it to be. Here we have your neutral, your live, your ground, and is that it? Yeah, so you've got your four wires. So yeah, neutral, your live load, so you have two of those, so you can splice that in. And again, this transformer here looks to be regular size, so you shouldn't have any issues putting this back into a regular receptacle that you already have. Grommet your wires on, screw it in, and there you go. Your install would essentially be done. Presentation-wise on the box, I actually kind of like this, how they have that oriented very nicely, very cleanly. So that was, of course, the TP-Link Smart Wi-Fi light switch. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna package that up later, put it off to the side now, do the same thing with the documentation. And here we have OTTEM, OTTEM. I'm not quite sure how to say that, but this is a sort of off-brand solution that I picked up off Amazon. It of course does say that it works with Alexa and Google Assistant as well. And very similar package to kind of what I've come to see from companies like Anchor and different things like that. So if we open up this package, you see presentation definitely isn't quite like the other ones here. You have the switch itself. Now this is actually just a touch button. So there's no click, there's nothing tactile. It's simply just a touch response. And if we look down in here, we have your regular style wall plate. And this is actually the only one that doesn't have sort of a oversized wall plate like you're going to see with the other two options. So this may be the perfect option for myself where I needed something in the bedroom that was a little bit smaller. You have your installation screws, and here you just have another little length of wire. Now, I'm gonna put that back in. On the back of this guy, this one's actually quite interesting. You don't have any wires that are exiting the unit itself. What you do is simply take your bare wires, so your 2 lives, your neutral, and your ground, and you simply just put them into these holes. Use these retention screws, screw those down tight, and that's pretty much it. Now, the reviews that I saw on this one online does say that the transformer is a little bit wider than a standard box. Most people should be okay, but just keep that in mind if you're in the market for this one here, that it may not fit in all pre-existing environments. So there are 3 examples of some light switches. Of course, they're gonna vary in cost. I will have up-to-date pricing and availability for all 3 switches in the description below. So just kind of putting that back away. And let's go ahead and let's also take a very quick look at these plugs. Now, the nice thing about smart plugs are the simple fact that you plug them into your existing outlet. You don't need to worry about wiring. You don't need to have any expertise in that. You simply plug this in and you use the pass-through plug to go ahead and plug in an electronics of your choice, and it will allow you to interface with that, control it smartly through either an app or different voice assistants like a Google Home or an Amazon Alexa. So we're gonna take a look at the TP-Link here. I actually controlled my Christmas tree with this TP-Link plug this Christmas, and it was actually really fun. So you can see here you've got your ground. It's quite a large plug, and this was one of the only sort of gripes that I had with it. You do have a tactile on-off here if you don't want to use the actual TP-Link Casa application. Casa will of course interface with your Google Home and your Amazon Alexa. But the only thing that I didn't really like about this guy here was how big it is. So when I plugged it into a standard outlet that had 2 ports on it, of course it's gonna be too tall for me to use the bottom plug. But even when I use the top plug, it's quite round on the bottom. I don't know if you guys can see that. Maybe I put it sideways, but the base kind of juts out here as well. And what that caused was an inconsistency with the bottom plug. So if I had something like my infrared heater upstairs running off the same plug, that requires a ground and the plug is quite thick, and it actually wouldn't even plug in underneath here as well. So this guy here is going to take up more room than something like this. And let's actually just go ahead and let's pop this in. And we'll look at this now. And actually, to bring this back into frame, this guy here also has an energy monitoring system built into the application, so you can take a look at power draw and different things like that. There's a model with that and a model without it. Now, let's see if we can get into this guy here. And actually, I've never opened this, so the tape is still on it. Go ahead and break that side, and go ahead and break this side here as well. Get this oriented correct, and we're just gonna open this guy up. And now this guy here has the same presentation style as we saw on the light switch, which is really, really nice. Now, the big benefit to this guy, and the reason why I think I'm going to get a couple more of these ones here after I thoroughly test it, is it's taking up a lot less room than this guy here. Now, these guys are pretty generic. They don't have any energy monitoring systems on them. They do, of course, work with either your tactile button or the Wemo app as well. That can, of course, interface with Amazon Alexa and Google Home. But no other bells and whistles. But I don't really think you need a lot of that stuff. You can see the plug is centralized. You have, of course, your ground. And when this plugs into the wall, providing it's a standard two-piece up and down, you're not going to hinder the other plug like you will with this guy here. So I've actually seen people stack two of these, one on top of the other, and not have any concerns at all. I would honestly like later on down the road to maybe see something where it would take up two plugs and it would maybe give you like 4 outlets, all that could be individually controlled. That would be really, really cool. So this guy I'm really excited to use. I haven't used any of the Wemo products just yet, so I'm really, really excited to see what that interface looks like. These I may use right away. Of course, I've just had them sort of set aside for the purpose of this video. Now that we're recording it, I'll be able to enjoy them. I have some bedroom lamps and things like that that I'm going to control with those guys there. And I'm actually going to step away for one moment because I remembered that I do have a third accessory that I think is actually kind of cool that I'm going to go grab. It's not compatible with the Amazon Alexa or the Google Home, but it does work with the Apple HomeKit. So let's go get that one and I will be right back. All right, so I can try to fit this whole thing into frame. It's probably not going to work very well, but this is the KUGeek Smart Outlet 3-outlet Surge Protector Power Strip with 3 USB charging ports. Quite a big title, but it pretty much self-explains itself. If I slide that down, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but it does work with the Apple HomeKit. We will put that aside because I have the power strip right here. So one thing that's really cool with this power strip is it's actually giving you, just with one plug, the option to control 3 separate outlets. Now, these outlets are powered by either a push button for a tactile experience, or of course through the Apple HomeKit. You do have 3 USBs at the bottom as well. It specifies 1 for iPad, so I do believe that is a fast charge certified. And then we just have your 2 regular here as well. These are always powered, so you can't control those through the Apple HomeKit like you can with these guys here. And then looking on the bottom, the only sort of downfall I could see with this when I first initially took a look at it is you don't have any of your keyhole mounting systems. So if you wanted to put this maybe on the underside of a desk, you will have to use double-sided tape. The cable itself as well, if I move some of this out of the way, is quite stiff. It's actually still almost fully retained its shape from when I took it out of the box. And the cable itself, my plug in my bedroom is behind my bed, and when I plug it into the wall, the cable is so thick and so stiff that, you know, it's taking up a good chunk. That's probably, what, maybe 2 inches of space from the time that it plugs in to the time it takes to actually curve down. So I can't efficiently use this. I'm gonna have to try to maybe incorporate it in my office. I use the S8, so HomeKit is not something I even have access to, but this is a very nice surge bar, and I really hate to see it go to waste. So that is really all that I wanted to go over with this video here, just to show you guys some of the really great options that we have available with smart home accessories. I could just sort of reach around and pull them all back into frame, but I'm not gonna bother doing that. So my goal is eventually to use them with my Google Home, or my Google Home Mini, I should say, my second Google Home Mini, and then if I reach down here as well, I do have a full-size Google Home. So once I have these spread out within the home and I have all of the smart home goodies installed, and I get this guy installed as well, which is a Honeywell thermostat, very old model, but it looks like they've updated the app to work with Google Home so I can tell it to heat or cool the house. I will have a smart controlled house, which is great. For a house that was built in the 80s, it's a little bit harder. Like I said, I have aluminum wiring and things like that within my home right now. So I do have to change some things when it comes to how those wires terminate, get special grease, get special grommets, but we'll get there, we'll do that, and I will do a comprehensive video on the operation of all of this smart home gear once I get the opportunity to test it. So if you guys saw value in this video at all as we looked at the comparison of all of these different pieces of tech, I would greatly appreciate a thumbs up. Let me know you like what I'm doing here and will push me to do more content in the future. Speaking of future, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you guys know when my next video in my inconsistent schedule will come out. Until the next one, guys, my name is Dog. You guys have been awesome, and I will catch you all in the next video. Take care.